Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Fusion of Honor, where we talk about everything that happens in MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. This was a newsworthy week in many ways. We had our first Women's of Honor Wednesday show on YouTube. We had some MLW news that we're going to get to. So we had some interesting firsts, some interesting things that we got to talk about, and there's no one better that I can talk about it with than my co-host. You guys know him. He is the three-time baby-making champ. This is Ness. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
Doing mighty fine this evening. And yeah, just to echo what you said, man, there was a lot going on in MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. A lot of newsworthy stuff, and I'm just ready to get into it. I couldn't wait to record this week because I felt like it was like I was chomping at the bit. Couldn't wait.
And guys, right before we get into all that, just a reminder to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. It allows us to be able to better do what we do for you guys. But speaking of doing things for the fans, doing things for you guys, we're just gonna go straight into the MLW news. We found out that there is a potential. This is Dave Meltzer reporting that there's a potential that MLW is going to be opening its own kind of forbidden door, and it's not the one that we wanted. if this deal does go through, it is not. The only person in the True Heel family who would be happy that this Forbidden Door is opening is probably Romeo, and he doesn't even know probably 80% of the people on the MLW Fusion roster.
I would go a full 95%.
He probably knows Jacob Fatu and maybe Hammerstone and Leo Rush, because actually that would be hilarious if Leo Rush did all that work to get away and get out of his contract.
Oh my
if you guys haven't guessed it, the Forbidden Door that we were talking about is with none other than the Evil Empire up in Stamford, Connecticut, WWE, the big old New York, the New York company, as they are often referred to as well. Apparently, there is some kind of feeling that WWE is a little upset that they're seeing all the other companies start working together. They're a little sad that the other kids are having more fun than them on the playground. And so they're like, oh, what can I do? Oh, let me find the little kid over there that nobody wants to talk to yet, and I'm just going to grab him, and I'm going to say, hey, come here and hang out with me. And that looks like what they are attempting to do here. They are saying that they want to partner with MLW to kind of use MLW the same way that they were using Evolve back in the day. And for those that don't know, WWE had a partnership with Evolve Wrestling. They would send NXT talent from NXT down to Evolve, and they would appear on Evolve shows, compete for Evolve titles. They were able to get exposure and get experience for those people that they didn't have time for on NXT, because at the time NXT was really developmental, even more so than it is now. And if you only had 1 hour on the WWE network and you only had maybe 3 or 4 matches, there's a large number of people who weren't getting ring time or screen time. Screen time is what's most important, because you have to act differently when you know there's a camera on you. So WWE had this partnership with Evolve. Eventually it got to the point where they said, it's easier if we just do this ourselves. They were like, they had some issues, I guess, with Evolve's management. I guess you could say that Evolve's management was Loki and Ronan, and then Hunter was just like Thanos, reaching in for the gauntlet, going, fine, I'll take care of it myself. And WWE just went and bought Evolve. And now it's kind of funny because they're talking about having a second NXT show called NXT Evolve. But if they do this deal with MLW Fusion, I'm sure they'll still do that NXT Evolve show, but they will also be able to send people down to MLW. I think that it's a great move for WWE. For WWE, it is an awesome move because WWE gets to say, hey, look, we're game to work with other promotions. Hunter's able to make good on that bullshit lie that he said, where he said that WWE is always open for business and they're always willing to partner with people. It's strange that the only times we ever see them partner with people is with companies that they either abuse, like a horrible stepfather, or they just outright take them over and buy them. It's just it's just strange. I don't know why this continues to happen, why this continues to be the trend. But it works out great for WWE and it works out great for NXT wrestlers who are going to be able to go down, who, funnily enough, the majority of the people who would benefit are the former guys and girls who were on Evolve, who are now not able to have time on NXT. But the people who would hurt would be people like Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Leo Rush, who, had to work really hard to get out of his contract with WWE, went on a tear on the indies, has been doing his music. He's the AAA Cruiserweight champion. He's the MLW middleweight champion. And now he could potentially be having to work with WWE again. And this is a situation where we've seen that WWE has no problem in exerting influence over companies that they're partnered with, so that they can't book against other talent. Like, there are indies in the UK that, because they had a partnership with WWE, couldn't book people from AEW or people who were signed to other companies, or have them go over in matches if based off of where they were on the card. I would not be surprised if this does happen, as I said in our chat, that sooner rather than later we see Jacob Fatu being like Roman's glorified tribal chief driver, or we see him being reduced to some kind of enforcer that The Rock has to get past at Fastlane before their WrestleMania match for WrestleMania 9, because I don't think they're going to do it at 38. I think this is a horrible idea for MLW. But Ness, I would love to hear what you think about this.
All right, so I'm going to start off with a positive. The only positive that I can get out of this is for guys like you said, Fatu, Alexander Hammerstone, guys that I think, and I'm sure you can agree, deserve a bigger platform than they're already getting on MLW. Strictly for YouTube. They will be debuting on Vice this weekend on Saturday, but it's like, I don't even know if I get Vice, but I mean, I already watch MLW on YouTube, so that works out for me. It really doesn't even matter. But everybody has USA, I like to think. So, and Fox, so that works out for those guys being on a bigger platform. That's really the only plus, and they'll get more money or some shit like that. Who knows? Now here's all the negatives. Like you said, Jacob Fatu, who's the fucking man in MLW, will be nowhere near as dominant, nowhere near as taken seriously, in my opinion, being in WWE, because it's WWE up here and MLW down here. Sure, they'll utilize him, or fuck it, they might just outright say, hey, we like this guy, we want him, here's however much money that you guys need for us to get him. Again, it has to be up to the talent to actually want to do that and go through with it. I'd like to believe you are our residential lawyer, you would know about the contract and things of that nature, but so I want to say, like, if he doesn't want to do that or want to sign with WWE, he probably wouldn't have to. But if they throw you a lot of money, which on top of the fact, his family, the history there, they're going to really, like, I feel as though they're going to throw a blank check at him. Also, Alexander Hammerstone, that's another guy that is up there in talent, up there with a lot of other high caliber wrestlers in the world. So I could see them again throwing whatever amount of money that they want at him to keep him in WWE. Pretty much this is just to say, hey, we need something to do. Like you said, we need something to do for all these other guys we signed that we don't got time for. We just fired, like, I don't know how many people, but we're going to hire 20 other people that we already don't have shit for. Hey, We got rid of Evolve. Let's bring Evolve back and just call it NXT. Oh, well, you know what? Let's go above. Let's go above and beyond that. Let's do this partnership with MLW. Oh, well, not too many people know MLW. We can send all our talent down there and put all our talent over, and we don't really have to worry about anything of that nature. So it kind of sucks because then, like, we can definitely see the writing on the wall, just like with Evolve, and eventually, just like back in the day with ECW, and how WWE was funding them just to end up being bought out, like Evolve being bought out. So MLW, I'm hoping that Court Bauer is like wants to keep his brand, but again, it's a business and it's all about money at the end of the day, which, can't be mad at it as much as we have our strong feelings, the dealings of the business. But I hope Court Bauer is just like, I want to keep MLW and not MLW NXT or Major League NXT or some shit like that. Like, oh my God, it's going to be so stupid. But my only positive about all of this is just it's going to be more for the guys on the MLW roster, and I hope that it works out just for their benefit, and it's not just another WWE snatch and grab and hoard talent and things of that nature. Because it's funny, now all of a sudden they're about to debut on TV. They've had all this time on YouTube, all this time. We don't hear any of these rumors or any of these partnerships or workings together literally until these guys are about to debut on TV. So I don't know. I get it, but I'm really hoping that, MLW thinks about themselves and not just trying to get a quick bag, even again, at the end of the day, it's a business and making money is the idea, but we've seen this happen with other companies. So at the end of the day, that just means the doors on MLW are going to close, in my opinion. I think, like you said, the writing's on the wall. We've seen it happen. So I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I'm hoping that it actually benefits MLW. If they actually send some talent over, and the guys that are on the MLW roster can get big wins on over NXT talent or WWE talent. But yeah, man, that's the only positive I can see is just these guys getting more exposure, getting more notoriety on a bigger platform. But outside of that, like, it's not looking too good.
Yeah, and I think it's funnier even that Court Bauer, with the contracts that MLW had or currently have with their talent, they can work for any other company except for WWE. That's the only company that their contracts will not let them be booked for. That's why we've seen somebody like Brian Pillman show up on AEW. And I don't even know if Pillman is technically still signed to MLW or if he is signed to AEW or if they're doing some kind of half and half kind of splits, which just, a little bit more on the AEW side. But either way, it just seems weird that somebody who has not been willing to be in bed with WWE now seems to be maybe willing to be in bed with them. This is one of those times where I really do hope that Meltzer is wrong.
Yeah, honestly, just for the fact that, oh my God, it's so much great talent. Like, I don't want to see Contra Unit be treated like fucking Retribution.
Yeah.
Or oh God, I'm not even going to keep using comparisons and analogies because I'm just going to get upset.
But something that he doesn't have to get upset about, folks, is this week's episode of MLW Fusion. And kicking it off, we have a kind of a team Filthy versus Von Erich family feel to the course of this. We're going to have bookended matches where first we see Dominic Garrini taking on Ross Von Erich. Ross is able to put away Dominic Garrini. Short match, but I liked it. Had some nice spots here and there. Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo, they are a really good team, and they are really pretty good singles wrestlers as well. I like them better as the team aspect, but singles, they're not too shabby. And that's one of the things that I like about MLW is that kind of variety. Like Dominic Garrini, he's not a wrestler in that sense. He's more of a fighter. He's more of an MMA fighter. He's more of a like kind of Greco-Roman style of wrestling or combat sports than he is what we consider professional wrestling. And that's something that is unique to MLW, that feel. And here he is in the ring against an actual, what we normally consider pro wrestler in Ross Von Erich. And I think they had a really good match together. How did you like this one, Ness?
Yeah, I actually like this one. This was one of the, I want to say, actually, probably like the first time that I seen Dominic Garrini, if that I could remember. And like you said, he was just going in there like it was an MMA match. He did want to try to wrestle, so to speak, not in the usual sense of professional wrestling, but just going in there, a lot of transitions, a lot of submission attempts. This dude's I think a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that in itself shows you that this man's dangerous. Yeah. So, and it was nice to see Ross Von Erich even try to match up with the style, because he's been on, I wouldn't really call it an excursion, but he was training with the great Muda, and whatever he was learning from Muda definitely showed up in this match, because he was hanging with Dominic Garrini. He eventually picks up the win. But it was a good match, nice little opener, and definitely set the tone for, like you said, the rest of the show being Von Erich family versus Team Filthy.
Yes, we know that we are getting Marshall Von Erich against Tom Lawlor in our main event. But before we can get to that, we've got some nice little continuation of our El Azteca Underground storyline with El Jefe and Selena De La Renta. There have been some issues back and forth over the weeks. What's going on with Selena, and what exactly is her position with Azteca Underground now that her promotion Dorades has been bought by El Jefe and Azteca Underground? And there is a nice little tie-in with Pro Wrestling Illustrated and their magazine. And that's another thing that's kind of cool about MLW. Their kind of symbiotic relationship with PWI, and how they have a PWI top 10 sometimes throughout the weeks. But here we see that there are definitely some issues, that El Jefe is not pleased with Selena De La Renta. So she's trying to get back into his good graces. And so she's got El Hijo de la Park in a match against Bukudao. And I thought, wow. I thought Bukudao was going to lose this match, honestly, because a part of me was just like, somehow, some way, those Parks always find a way to win. Selena finds a way to cheat. And it would just make sense because Bukudao beat TJP.
Man.
Or are they going to keep him on this streak now? Like, not streak, but are they going to continue to build him up? And that is exactly what they do. We know that next week we are getting Rush Reed 2, that middleweight matchup for the title, and we kind of need to see who is going to potentially be the next contender. And we were talking about this last week. Is it going to be Bukudao? Is it going to be this guy who they are working behind and putting behind? And it looks as though it is, because this match, Bukudao shows out pretty well, and he's able to put away El Hijo de la Park. And one of the things that I like the Bukudao or die, like that, like catchphrase. It's kind of funny. It has no actual meaning, because it's just the guy's name or die. So I guess either support him or die, which is a little bit more of a heel thing to me. But I mean, it's catchy. It works. But it was a fun match, good match, and I think that he's going to be set to be a future middleweight contender. How'd you like this one, Ness?
Yeah, this match, I have to agree. I did not see it ending with a Bukudao win. El Hijo de LA Park was ragdolling, manhandling this guy literally for 90. I want to say more than 90 or 95. I want to say like 97% of this match. It was just all El Hijo de LA Park. And out of, towards the end, just to finish with Bukudao hitting the flatliner, that jumping flatliner from the second rope and picking up the win, that came out of nowhere. So I'm just like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And now he's definitely being set and put in a position for, I believe, to face whoever comes out of Rush Reed 2. He might not be the top #1 contender, or just he's definitely on his way to be there. You know, he's picking up the win. He beat TJP, got this victory this week, and he's definitely on his way. And that's how you build up a baby face. Like, he's that underdog baby face that you can get behind. And I feel as though they have him matched up with TJP, who's a mega asshole. They got him matched up with LA Park of his son, brother, whatever the case may be. You know, those guys are always assholes. So they're matching him up with people that would make you want to cheer for the babyface. So that makes sense. Far as Selena, I don't know, man. It ain't looking too good for her. Because first, it was last week that they took a loss. LA Park and LA Park Jr. I don't fucking know. I'm sorry. I get mixed up because it's El Hijo Day.
Yeah, there's
LA Park, and then
there's
it was just like LA Park Jr. I get mixed up. But the moral of the story is 2 weeks in a row, 2 major losses. It's not good. You know, El Jefe, which ironically, El Jefe and Azteca Underground taking over promotional how you say it again? Doradas. That's ironic, because how we got the whole WWE and MLW thing. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, El Jefe's not happy. He's not happy. So what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? And I'm sorry, actually, I think that the Parks actually got the win. It was Mil Mortes that didn't pick up the win. So two L's in a week. Not looking good. Not looking good at all.
And earlier in the night, we see that Tom Lawlor is trying to figure out how to get out of his match against Marshall. So he goes, and actually this works out great now, because the last time that this person was on MLW Fusion, I had no idea who it was, and thankfully Chris, being the basketball fan that he is, was able to smarten me up and coach me up about who exactly this Tim Donaghy person was. Now I do know, but in case I don't, I have a basketball person here who knows a lot about it. So we have Tim Donaghy, the crooked ref, who was behind some kind of some cheating scandal in the NBA, and now he is, I guess, a referee for MLW. How the mighty have fallen. But Tom Lawlor has used him in the past, and now he's trying to use him again. And I gotta give credit. I gotta give a little bit of credit to them. I thought when he was giving him the money that he was going to try to make him the referee for the match. Yeah. But what they try to do is they're basically trying to get Marshall disqualified by saying, you got to give a urine sample to make sure that you are testing clean, and which I think is just hilarious in the first place. No. But because all that would have been done a while ago if it wasn't going to be done. But either way, they do it. They do the classic. You kind of know it's as soon as what the fuck is that? as soon as Marshall comes back with the urine sample in his hand, I was like, I know exactly what's about to happen. I just felt bad for Alicia Toot, because she is forced to stand there as Marshall Von Erich throws the pee onto Tom Lawlor. And shout out to Tom Lawlor for fully committing to the bit by just starting while it's dripping down his face, breathing. Oh my
god, bro, that was disgusting. I mean, I know it wasn't really pissed, but I'm like, and then he blows it out, and I'm like, oh my god.
So I mean, it redefines what it means to be filthy, Tom Lawlor. But. So while that's going on, Selena De La Renta is changing into her, I guess, regular clothing instead of what she was wearing to the ring to be with El Hijo de la Park. And they say that she's got a little meeting with El Jefe, and they got some people from Azteca Underground walking her to the car with a hood over her head. Oh my God, this is insane. This is crazy. I don't know what the hell is going on. I just hope that, in a way, I hope that this is not because the May 5th episode is the last, of this era and they're going to be going to Vice TV, I'm hoping that her contract hasn't run out and this is going to be how they write her off. Like, she pissed off El Jefe one too many times, so they kill her or they fire her or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Like, it's like they're talking, like, but if you
It
remember,
doesn't look like they kidnapped her. So
but if you were watching Lucha Underground and stuff like that, they used to bring up how the Aztecs and the Mayans used to do human sacrifice and stuff. God knows what's going to happen to poor Selena De La Renta. Like, and thousands of male wrestling fans would be so upset if anything were to happen to poor Selena De La Renta. So hopefully
I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
Hopefully she will be all right, but we're not going to find out until next week, which means we have to talk about this main event. This was a really good main event. I liked this was the story, especially because the promo video told the story and there was an interview with Marshall about the history between these guys, and you feel it. You feel the fact that Tom Lawlor brings these guys into MLW. He turns against them. There's so much backstory, so much hatred that's in this storyline that it makes sense that this is a nice main event. It could have been a pay-per-view main event, and I thought the match was really good. I liked how it ended. So the way this ends is that the storyline has always been Marshall's knee. Marshall's knee has been bothering him for well over a year, and he got re-aggravated during that chain link rope match where instead of having regular ring ropes, they had chains up, and he got caught up in the ropes. It torqued his knee a bit, and his knee is continuing to give him problems. And now Lawlor focuses on that knee, targets that knee, goes after that knee over and over and over again, including smart moments where he forces Marshall to think that he's going after his arm, after his right arm. So Marshall's defenses come up to protect his arm and his shoulder area, exposing his knee again, and Lawlor goes straight back to it. So the story of the match was really well done. And then he puts him into that single leg Boston Crab, puts him into that half crab where he's just putting that pressure on the knee. And instead of tapping, Marshall passes out. He refuses to tap out, and the referee awards Lawlor the win by referee's decision. This one went just under 12 minutes. I thought it was a really good match. Ness, what did you think?
Yeah, this was definitely a main event worthy caliber match. Like you said, it definitely could have been a pay-per-view match. They would have had a little bit more time, and I think they probably would have did a little bit more damage to each other. But yeah, man, Tom Lawlor was laser focused on that knee. One of those Boston Crabs that he did, like, it was a modified version, and not the Boston Crab, the single leg crab, and he's like sitting sideways on it. And I've never seen that done before, and it just hit me. I'm like, yo, that's a way to put a lot of pressure on somebody's knee to possibly do like some real damage out of it than like a single leg crab or a regular Boston Crab. So I've never seen it done before, and I wouldn't mind seeing other wrestlers do it, or if Tom uses that move again. But like you said, man, this was a good match, a lot of back and forth, up until the point where, Marshall ended up getting his knee worked on over and over, and the psychology in the match was top notch. So I also like the finish that, he didn't tap. So passing out, that just is a protected loss, and he looks good in the loss. So who knows where they just go from here? Tom Lawlor's going to be cocky. He's going to be happy and talking shit about it. So, and it's probably going to lead to some type of gimmick match, I believe, because there's no way that this bad blood that's been brewing for pretty much over the last 2 years is going to end with a referee stoppage. Somebody has to get hurt. There has to be bloodshed. And I think the next time these guys meet in the ring, it's going to be just that.
And speaking of which, and this also goes back to what we were saying before about this, potential Forbidden Door aspect. They bring up on the broadcast that he won that New Japan title, that New Japan US title. And we know that he's going to have to defend it. And we know the Von Erichs are in New Japan. They're part of that New Japan American dojo. Yeah. So maybe that's going to be part of that July 10th show in Philly that, and that's what Court was talking about last week, where he was saying we want to give our fighters some time to rest and recover and have fight camps and so on and so forth. Now you may be giving Marshall time. I mean, that's 2 months to be able to rest and heal up. And maybe that's going to be a match that we get at that show. And that's maybe, hopefully, finally, Filthy Tom Lawlor will get some kind of comeuppance. But it will make things interesting. How are all these guys going to be able to be on contract with MLW and doing things with WWE if they're, also able to work with New Japan? That's something that we're gonna have to see. But guys, we gotta turn to Ring of Honor. We're talking about, speaking of companies that have partnerships and then lost partnerships and we don't know what exactly the status is of partnerships, right? We don't even know what the status is of Ring of Honor's partnership with New Japan. What is going on there? Rocky Romero, talk to me. Like, do something, man. Like, figure something out. But another partnership that Ring of Honor had was with CMLL. And this is another big piece of news. In the news is that CMLL terminated their partnership with Ring of Honor. This has to do with the fact that, and Ness, correct me when I'm wrong, because you are definitely more plugged in on the Lucha Libre stuff. But from my understanding, Roosh and Conan and I think the Lucha Brothers are forming their own promotion called Federación Wrestling.
Yes.
And they're going to be working with a bunch of people. I saw a poster for it, and I think I saw some I saw Ty Conti on there. I saw Red Velvet on there. So some AEW people. I saw Andrade on the poster as well. I mean, I don't know if this was fan made or not, but so they're bringing together people from different promotions, but they're also bringing together people from CMLL and AAA. And one of the things that I saw is that they're offering large amounts of money, like I think somewhere along the ranges of $7,000 to $10,000 for tapings or for shows, even one-off appearances, to try to get people to come to this promotion. Now, this is a problem because if those people know if they leave CMLL, the odds are they are not going to be able to get back with CMLL. CMLL, it has a tendency to kind of hold grudges. That has been a whole thing. Lest we forget, part of the reason that they are also had issues with Roosh and Dragon Lee and Bestia leaving in the first place. And that was straining that CMLL relationship with Ring of Honor. So the fact that Roosh and Conan are doing this promotion and Ring of Honor seems to be supporting them.
That's what it is.
CMLL said, we are going to be terminating this partnership. And, I mean, it works out okay for Ring of Honor, to me, if this Federación Wrestling gets off the ground. Because then you've just basically replaced CMLL with Federación Wrestling, and you already know that you have a good relationship with them because Roosh is in charge of it. Yeah. So it works out really well for you. You don't have to deal with some of the more petty nature that some of the people in CMLL may have. So I think it's a good look for Ring of Honor. It definitely makes things more difficult for CMLL. And meanwhile, completely untouched seemingly in all of this, AAA actually benefits from this because AAA's relationship with AEW is now making them one of the larger Mexican promotions that has a presence on Western television. So that's going to be something to look forward to in general. But what are your? I mean, we talked about MLW and WWE. Yeah. Now we're talking CMLL and Ring of Honor. What are your thoughts about all that?
Well, at the end of the day, CMLL, like you said, they hold grudges. I think a part of this definitely was, well, in my understanding, there was already a rift because, Roosh and Dragon Lee were in CMLL, and I believe they were going to do a show with AAA talent. That's a big no-no. If, like you said, if people aren't familiar with CMLL and AAA, think of the Bloods and the Crips. That's pretty much what there is, wrestling style in Mexico. Like,
oh boy,
that's like the most disrespectful Blood meeting the most disrespectful Crip, and then they just butt heads. that's pretty much where I can, the comparison comes to. So that was already a situation with those guys. And then recently I hear that there was an issue with Bandito. Bandito was let go from CMLL, I believe, for the same reasoning, with either working the show or wanting talent on a show from AAA, or just being a part of this I can't even say it in Spanish, Federation or Federación Wrestling. So CML is just pretty much, at the end of the day, I get it. It's understandable because it's business wise, but they're coming off as bitter,
Yeah.
It's not a good look. Like you said, business is business, but what's going to be better for you guys in the long run? At this point, I think they still have a relationship with New Japan. I believe they do, but far as like the pandemic and everything, like it's still slowly opening up the world, but it's not where it is where it's like, oh yeah, we can send these guys on excursions, or we can trade talent like that, frequently. It's not at that point yet. I can't wait for it to get back to that, but it's not there right now. All this really did was boost the morale for AAA. Like, you guys pretty much, they shot themselves in the foot at the end of the day. CMLL, they shot themselves in the foot because you cut off your one partnership that you had, as wary as it might have been, because they really weren't using a lot of guys. There wasn't a lot of trading going on as far as talent between CMLL and Ring of Honor recently, again, due to the pandemic. But now there's none at all. So they just pretty much gave AAA a major boost. Again, their partnership with AEW definitely going to get Western fans' eyes on them. Who knows? They're going to probably have a relationship now with New Japan, possibly. They, like I said, man, CMLL just pretty much did a favor for AAA. These guys just went out and trimmed the fat for the most part for them. Literally, for not like, I don't know who runs CMLL, like what kind of business they do, but I think that was a bad call. But again, at the end of the day, they might feel disrespected. All these things are going on. Like I said, they don't want people in CMLL working with AAA, and I'm pretty sure it's vice versa on the AAA side, and even if it is, it's not really getting blown out of proportion like it is with CMLL. And yeah, at the end of the day, this doesn't, and I don't think Ring of Honor is going to get affected at all from this. That's just the harsh reality for CMLL. This doesn't really affect Ring of Honor because they're starting to bring in more talent for themselves. And like, just from this episode alone, and I'm just like, yo, they got a lot of people, like their roster is really starting to pick up now. So It doesn't even really matter if they have a quote unquote partnership with one company, because they're starting to build up their own roster, and they have working relationships with a New Japan, a little bit of MLW guys here and there, and it's just like, look, Ring Roster like, all right, that's what you guys want to do, then that's what you guys want to do. It's just like, okay, and now CMLL is probably like Squidward looking out of the window while SpongeBob, Ring of Honor, and Patrick, New Japan, are just like running around having fun. But at the end of the day, if that's how they feel and that's what they want to do, then like, who are we to shame them? But I can say this: it was pretty stupid. I will say that they can do whatever they want, but it's just going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, and I want to see how exactly this all. Now I'm hoping that this Federación Wrestling, this promotion, really takes off. I'm hoping that they're able to do something with it. Yeah. Because you always want to see more promotions that are able to give more people work, more people opportunities. That's something that we're always interested in seeing. That's we were saying earlier, that's the one positive that we can take away from MLW potentially partnering with WWE. It's that more people will see people like Hammerstone, Holiday, and Fatu. Like, that's the real benefit. So hopefully they're able to figure all this out and navigate these roads together. We'll have to see how they do all that. But Ring of Honor is steaming full steam ahead, and they have 2 episodes now a week. They have their regular episode, and on YouTube they have Women of Honor Wednesdays. So we're gonna start with that one. This one is a 1-match show. It is a tag team match. First, we start with Maria Bennett coming out, and then going to commentary. She's not really gonna do much on commentary. Like, it's just
Really,
like,
nah.
it's just, it was just funny because like she's standing there with the microphone, and like they do the chyron with her name and everything, and she's like, "I am Maria Kanellis Bennett." It's like, no, we can read. No, I got it. And she's like, "I am the first lady of professional wrestling." It's like, you're not really, but all right. Like, and she's like, "I am a board member," and it's like, all right, cool. Like, I mean, if that's the case, if any of this thing sucks, we're blaming you. That's like especially because she's like, "I have been given the great responsibility of making women's wrestling great again." I'm like, all right, like let's just
you just want to take full credit for this.
Like, just get to the match. Like you're doing a horrible Stephanie McMahon impression. That's all I want to say. But this is a tag team match. We have Heian with Laney Luck up against Max the Impaler and Roxy. I know Laney Luck a little bit because she is somebody, like they said she's from Chicago, but she is a staple of freelance wrestling, and I've seen her many times in some of the freelance shows that I've gone to. She's a really good worker, and I'm glad that, like we're talking about, I'm glad that some of these people are going to be able to get to be on a stage that they previously have not been able to be on. So that's something that is really good. The match was pretty good. Like the match, had some really nice spots. The only thing that I didn't like about this match was the ending. I was like, why would you do a time limit draw, your first match of this new program, this new kind of concept of Women of Honor Wednesdays, we're going to have matches now, or they're bringing it back, or whatever the case may be. Why would you want to go to a time limit draw? I'd want to have, I mean, I guess maybe you're saying, these women are going to impress so much that we want to see them next week and we're going to tune in. But unless we're going to get a tag team match, exactly the same partners, I don't know if I want, like, I don't need a time limit draw. I want to see a winner. And I think that's probably what they should have done. But Ness, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, this was a great match in my opinion, honestly, because I'm not familiar with any of them in the match. I have come across Laney Luck. Her, like, I've probably like seen her on Instagram or something, so I'm familiar. She's like the party unicorn.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because like every woman in this match brought something different, like a different type of energy. Like Laney was the party person, and like she's dancing and shit. I'm just like, all right, that caught me like off guard because she just starts doing like all the TikTok dances and shit. And so I'm just like, all right, you got some rhythm. Okay, cool. You cool. And then the high end, she's like, yeah, I'm the Renaissance woman from Texas. And I'm like, well, I'm like, well, ain't shit a Renaissance in fucking Texas, but okay. And then Max the Impaler, she is a whole character. Like she has the look. What is her name? She kind of reminded me of, aside from the face paint, what's her name? Sarah Logan. Because like
I can see that.
Yeah, I got Sarah Logan vibes. And then with Roxy, she's like just the young one in the match, but she's just as experienced, or maybe even more experienced than some of the other ladies in this match. And like that in itself set the match off for me, because again, they all came in here with these energies, but they all actually showed up. Laney Luck and Roxy starting the match off. Honestly, I forgot that there were 2 other people in the match. These 2 were just wrestling, going from mat wrestling, holds, transitions, just like countering each other. And I'm like, look, I could just watch you guys for like another, just for the match itself, because they were really just going for a good couple minutes and not even worrying about their partners. And then High End comes in. Maxie and Impaler, they have a nice little standoff, and she's just like, look, I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid of Maxie and Impaler because she looks like someone that can or will impale you just for fucking breathing wrong. So it was just like everybody had their own entity, their own persona in this match, but they backed it up with in-ring ability. So I get the feeling of the match coming to a time limit draw. They didn't want anybody to look bad, so to speak. They also pretty much given off like, oh, this is just a taste. This is just a teaser of what you guys are going to get. One thing I didn't like, though, I believe Maria, I think it was Maria on commentary. He was like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll see these ladies in the Women of Honor title tournament. What the fuck do you mean maybe we'll see them? You start the revamping of Women of Honor with these 4 great talents, and you don't know if they're going to be in the tournament, the title tournament. Are you like, how dumb can you be? We already know that you're not that great on commentary, not that great of acknowledging the shit that goes on in Ring of Honor. So now you don't know if they're gonna, like, I'm just like, all right, whatever, Maria, just shut the fuck
up. Especially when she was saying that she's the one making the decisions.
Exactly. So yeah, and it's funny because she's like, we're both in the Ring of Honor experience group. They got so much good feedback from from Women of Honor this week. And it's just like, are you really gonna shoot you guys, like, again, are you gonna shoot yourself in the foot by not giving these women another opportunity, like the real opportunity? This tag team match was a good way to put them on a platform to expose them to a bigger and broader audience. I will give them their props for that. But now, since this was the inception of the revamping of Women of Honor, these are your 4, in my opinion, that you should start off with. You should run with these 4 and just like build them up. Now we don't really know who else is going to be in the tournament, but again, what I've seen from Lainey Luck and Roxy, and just from all of them, but those are the 2 that I really want to see have Women of Honor focused on, and just have them be built around. They don't necessarily have to go on and win the title, but I need for them to be a staple. I don't know if it was a one-off. I don't know if they'll actually be Ring of Honor mainstay or Women of Honor mainstays, but those are definitely the 2 that I looked out the most for in this match. And I really want to see them return. I want to see all 4 women return, but definitely Roxy and Lainey Luck. But let's just hope and pray that Maria doesn't drop the ball with this. You know, it's all eyes are on you and Women of Honor right now. And look, you guys got 2 thumbs up for me at the moment. I don't want to give you the thumbs down. Like I said, it's 2 thumbs up. It's staying there for right now. I'm really just ready to see the next week's episode at this point, because it started off great. They got great feedback, and I just hope they just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job with the booking of it and who they selected to be the people who started off this first episode. In that same vein, Ring of Honor did a really great job of figuring out who was going to start off this week's episode of regular Ring of Honor television, and that is none other than Eli Isom and the man who is quickly becoming Ness's favorite wrestler in Ring of Honor, Dak Draper.
I gotta give. We'll get into it.
So this is actually the only other reason why I didn't like the finish of the show on Wednesday, is because this opening match, goes to a time limit draw as well, 15 minutes. Now this one, I think both of them were done actually pretty egregiously bad, because they didn't tell us what the time. I don't think they told us that there was going to be 15 minutes. I don't think they said there were going to be 15 minutes, and the announcers didn't kind of draw attention to it either until randomly the bell rings, and these 2 guys are just like, "Oh, we need to stop now." like what are we supposed to do? Because they are going for 15 minutes, and this is a really good match. And they're just back and forth, nice back and forth. Isom's trying to hit that brain buster. Draper's trying to lock in that mile-high submission move. This is a nice back and forth. Draper's using that height advantage that he has, that power advantage. He's trying to batter Eli Isom down. Eli Isom using the story of his career, as we've seen, the heart. Does he have the heart to basically chop down Goliath? Can he climb the beanstalk and drop? Like, a part of me was just like, I don't even know if he can get that dude up for the brain buster just because of the height difference. Can he pull this off? And yes, he can. But this match goes to a time limit draw. Ness, we'll get into the post match. But what did you think about the match itself?
Now, I really did like the match, and honestly, I'm in favor of these guys going to a time limit draw because they're both on the rise, and I feel as though, I mean, at the end of the day, somebody has to take a loss, but I think at this moment in time, they both didn't, like, one of them didn't need to take the loss, especially Eli Isom, who's being built up as an up-and-coming baby face. Dak Draper he's just so charismatic. And again, he is becoming one of those people that I am looking out for in Ring of Honor. So towards the beginning and towards the end of the match, it kind of looked like they had a few little miscues, maybe little missteps, but like the actual middle of the match, it was a lot of good back and forth, a lot of great counters between the two of them because, again, Dak Draper having the height advantage, having the size advantage over Eli Isom, he was really trying to put these moves on Dak, but he couldn't really, let me not say that. He was trying to use certain maneuvers on Dak, let me say it like that. But, him still having all his energy, he couldn't get it off. He couldn't use them. And Dak would just counter out. And to Eli Isom's credit, Dak would try to put him in certain maneuvers and use certain submissions and things of that nature, and Eli would counter out of them and escape a lot of these moves as well. And these guys were just going back and forth. It was a lot of back and forth. And I think that's why I really like this match, because it credited up that both these guys are, again, on the rise. They both don't want to go down without a fight. It doesn't even matter who's doesn't even matter. One of us has to lose, but they both had the mindset that it's not going to be me. And obviously that's what, the match comes down to, the time limit draw. And I love the fact that they were going like, oh, just give me 5 minutes, Eli. Just give me 5 more minutes. And I'm just like, are they really going to give him 5 more minutes? And it seemed like they were going to give them 5 more minutes. And it's just like, that's the energy, that's the intensity that the new crop of Ring of Honor stars should have, because you guys have to prove yourselves. The established veterans, they don't need to, for the lack of a better term, they don't need to come up and show this fire. They should, just because they are veterans and they are stars. But it's you guys, these newer guys, that have to make a staple in Ring of Honor. So I think that the match itself and then just the overall mindset after the match, like, a time limit draw is not going to sit well with me. Like, there needs to be a decisive winner. But like you said, we're going to get into the post match, so you can take it away, because
But I think you started it off perfectly, because you're talking about what it means to be a new guy versus the established veterans. The new guys have to bring that fire. They have to bring that passion, that sense of excitement and entertainment. You got to bring the entertainment.
Yes.
That's what they got to bring. And that's what Dalton Castle likes to see. Dalton Castle makes his return, recently re-signed with Ring of Honor, so I'm pretty sure that's why all of this is happening. But now he went from 2 boys to 0 boys to 4 boys. And I was like, that's a come up, and I guess like that's like all right, okay, let's see. He's coming in there. He's got this. He's got the pink. He's got the pink. He's got the pink Mark Henry suit on. Coming down there. He's got those like gator loafers. No, they're not gators, but like they were like bedazzled. Yeah, the bedazzled loafers.
Yeah.
He's coming down there to the ring with. It's like, wow, we're getting that Dalton Castle that was Ring of Honor champion. Maybe we're getting that Dalton Castle back. And he gets into the ring and says, this is what I've been missing from Ring of Honor. That sense of entertainment, that sense of excitement. People are just like, oh yeah, we got to wrestle. But I mean, what, you got to do it with flair. You got to do it with pizzazz. You got to have something. You got to have those intangibles. And he says that I think that you, Eli Isom, and you, Dak Draper, have exactly the kind of entertainment and persona and aura that I'm looking for. And then he proceeds to kick both of them in the balls. I was very confused. I was on his side until the moment where he kicks Eli Isom in the balls. And then I was like, okay, all right, so he's now becoming a heel. All right, cool. But then he turns around and kicks a heel in the balls. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? What is this guy doing? And they both like collapse to the ground, and Dalton Castle's just like, well, time for me to leave. He basically just leaves. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, maybe it is a fun thing of this is a veteran's way of shitting on the up and comers. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe that's a storyline. But I think one thing that's great about it is if you were going to do a entertainment versus wrestling storyline with anybody in Ring of Honor, the entertainment side works with Dalton Castle because that really is his persona. That really is the character that he has done for so long. And he has that background in wrestling. He has that pedigree that he can keep up with whoever it is going to be the wrestling side of things. I just think it's kind of funny that he didn't kick Foundation members in the balls because they are the ones who are like really about wrestling. He goes after the young guys. But we'll have to see how exactly that works. But Ness, what did you think about this segment?
Oh my God, this segment. It was all right. When I watched this, I was high out of my mind. I smoked, and I'm just looking at it and watching it, and I could not stop laughing uncontrollably. Dalton Castle, first of all, the match prior was great. Then to have it looked like these guys, like I said, it looked like these guys were going to go an extra 5 minutes. Literally, as soon as it seemed like they were about to make the decision, if they were or they weren't, lights go out. Dalton Castle comes out with all the fanfare and flair and the theatrics and things of that nature. He says that he likes both guys. Take that however you want, especially the way he was talking to them.
Yeah.
Very, very, very. I'm looking for the right word to use.
Very Dalton Castle-esque.
That's like the only thing I can really say and not get flagged. So then, like you said, he says that he does like Dak Draper, but he didn't like Eli Isom. So at that point, I was like, well, that makes sense. I thought that it was going to be him telling to take Dak Draper under his wing, but that quickly went out the window when he just turned and kicked him in the balls as well. Then he's like, I gotta go, I'm busy. That whole I'm busy thing, like he's selling drugs and shit. But I thoroughly enjoy this segment because, again, I have to agree. If anybody can get the focus on the entertainment aspect, he's like, look, at the end of the day, we're on TV. This is a TV show. Everybody in here is worrying about wrestling and being a competitor, and I'm the only one that's thinking about the fans and the viewers at home. When he said that, I said, he's right. Yeah, because he literally has a point. But it's just like, because I don't want to say that everybody's the same because they're really not, but the mentality is. It is about going out there being the best wrestler, the best competitor on the roster, going after getting wins, racking up wins, going after titles. And literally nobody was honestly thinking about being a showman, being a quote unquote performer to an extent. They're not really thinking about going out there to perform to entertain you. They're going out there to perform to show you why they feel as though that they are the best and why they should be recognized as a top talent in the world of professional wrestling. That is the contrast between Dalton Castle and literally the rest of the roster at this point. He's on an island by himself, honestly. So I like the fact that they kind of broke that fourth wall to speak, because again, he pretty much threw it to the viewer like, look, I'm the only one that cares about you guys far as to entertain you. That is a TV show. The rest of these guys just want to wrestle, want to beat each other up, and maybe you'll like it, but I'm the one here that wants to do things and shine a light that you will enjoy. Either you'll like it and you enjoy it, or you'll either hate it and you'll elicit that emotion that you're going to hate it. And either way, it's going to work for me. So I like that aspect of it. But now I just want to see where he goes from here, because you just kicked two very talented, very hungry up-and-comers in the nuts. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to take that line down. So once they recover from being hit in their manhood, I want to see how they get their comeuppance on Dalton Castle. And if he has his four boys, because the last two boys he had, they wrestled eventually.
They did, yeah.
So maybe these four boys that he has now, maybe they're in the works. Maybe he's training them to not only be wrestlers, but just as good entertainers as he is.
Yeah, maybe they are in the Dalton Castle dojo. That would be hilarious. I think that would actually be hilarious as part of the storyline because of the Ring of Honor dojo. But speaking of the Ring of Honor dojo, we have they show us a segment where they were filming. It was going to be if I was following it right, it was supposed to be a match with Beer City Bruiser versus one of the Ring of Honor dojo guys. Yeah. And he basically said, "This is not worth my time." And Ken Dixon makes a interesting reveal as somebody who comes out and is basically destroying people and helping Beer City Bruiser. I didn't fully get the connection between the two of them. I don't know what exactly the maybe you caught it, like what exactly the relationship is between the two of them, whether they're going to be partners, because they do have a segment with Quinn McKay after this where they're talking about how they don't. Beer City's like, I don't want to be. The whole reason why I had a problem with Taven was because I didn't want to be held down anymore, and now I got to face dojo guys. I don't want to do that. Like that, that was what I felt the takeaway from it was. But at the same time, when he came out, they announced him as representing the Beer City Bruisers. Like they announced him as representing the tag team still. So I don't know what the full extent is, but hey, it's something. It's something to see what exactly is going to happen with Bruiser. We know that we were waiting to see what was going to happen with him and Malonis and what exactly that split was going to be. And then in our second kind of promo segment, this one was even weirder to me because I couldn't tell. So Bateman, Vita Von Star, and the homeless bad guy from the first Men in Black show up. The guy who helped
Edgar.
The guy.
He does look like Edgar. Oh my God.
The guy who helped Vincent not even beat Taven. The guy who helped Vincent get that match to a what the fuckery. I think that was the official decision. If you go on Cage Match, it just says what the fuckery. But the guy who helped Vincent in that moment, they all come out and they are talking. They're basically saying that Vincent is not there anymore. Not like he's gone, but he's gone for a little while. They don't really say where he is or what he's doing, but he's gone for a little bit. And it's a little weird because while they are doing the promo, they are speaking and using the mannerisms of Vincent almost as though they are like possessed by Vincent and he's speaking through them. And that's kind of the gist of the segment itself, where it's like, hey, he can control things. That's kind of what it is. And it's saying we're not far away. We're still around. Like, be scared, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera. So Ness, what were your thoughts about these two segments and kind of what we see as more teams or more factions starting to appear in Ring of Honor, particularly because now we know we have Shane Taylor Promotions, we have Foundation, we have Violence Unlimited, and we have LFI. Now we are kind of seeing the Vincent group coalesce, and maybe we're seeing a new tag team with Beer City Bruiser and Ken Dixon.
Well, the Ken Dixon, I guess you want to call it, that was out of nowhere. When he smashed the guy in the head with a bottle, I said, this was my reaction. Holy shit! I reacted just like that because I didn't see it coming, but it makes sense. Both of these guys are missing their front teeth. So that kind of might be one of the reasons why they kind of bond. And Ken Dixon's just like, look, I'm not here for this cookie cutter bullshit. He's like, I'm different from these guys. These guys are all here to, follow the ways of the dojo, follow the ways of, being honorable and Ring of Honor. He's like, that doesn't sit well with me. That wasn't never the way that I wanted to do things. And the Beer City Bruiser pretty much brought that out of him without even having to actually bring it out of him. So he's just like, look, a guy like you, I can get behind and I can support that. And now they have the upcoming match, the next week's episode of Beer City Bruiser and Ken Dixon versus the OGK. So, I like it. I think that'll probably be a better team far as him and Malonis, because, again, at this point in time, we don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Malonis hasn't been on an episode of Ring of Honor ever since that episode where they were trying to it was Beer City Bruiser and Malonis versus the OGK. I definitely liked it. I like Ken Dixon. I think that he's going to be a great fit for Beer City Bruiser, but and I'm just waiting to see how that goes. Now, far as the Righteous promo, like you said, it was just like Vincent's still around, or he's just back healing up from, his match at the anniversary show. But now they have this guy, his name's Dutch, like you said, aka Edgar from Men in Black. And now it's just like it is. I know a lot of people are, or a lot of Western fans, because they're not really used to it, have an issue with a lot of factions, specifically with AEW. But like you said, Ring of Honor, they have their factions. They have the Righteous, the Foundation, LFI. Well, it's just a tag team now, but the OGK, I'm pretty sure though we could throw Maria in there to make it a fucking faction. Who else? Who am I missing? Well, Shane Taylor Promotions. Yeah. There was the Mexican Blood out there. There was. Who knows what's going on with those guys? I think it's still there, but I think after the next week it'll probably be kaput. But they are building up the factions, and I like it. Oh, also Violent Unlimited. I like the fact that there are so many the factions, and like I said it earlier in this episode, that the talent is being built up. They have talent in Ring of Honor now. It's not just, a couple guys here and there. No, they have like 6 or 7 factions going on now with at least 3 or 4 guys in them. So it's talent around. So we're going to see more and more guys come in. But speaking specifically on the Righteous, whenever Vincent returns, I think they're going to go on a tear. They have all this momentum behind them. Bateman just being that mouthpiece at the moment while and pretty much being the second in command while Vincent is recuperating. So, and he's just like, look, it's you got me, I got the devil in me, and then you got this monster behind me and Dutch, and then just Vita Von Star, who again, that's someone that I can see in the Women of Honor tournament. I would like to think she's going to be in the Women of Honor tournament because that's really one of the only two women that actually show up on Ring of Honor, you know. But yeah, I just want to see where they go with that as well. Like it took a while for me to appreciate the Righteous, and now that I somewhat care about them, I hope that they don't drop the ball with these guys either and actually do something of some significance with them. So just got to wait for Vincent to get back. You dig what I'm saying, man? Yeah.
And if we want to have chaotic action while we wait for Vincent to come back, we need to look no further than our main event. Our main event of the evening is Violence Unlimited taking on La Faction and Ingobernable. We knew we were getting this match last week, and this one has some interesting aspects to it because the promo video is almost, in the beginning of it at least, they're talking more about the foundation. LFI is talking more about the foundation. And I like what Kenny King is just like, congratulations, golf clap. You took advantage of us when, the chips were down because we didn't have Dragon Lee. That, congratulations about that. One thing I think that's funny is I don't know if Bestia fully understands English because, like, when Kenny was like, and then here's Roosh, and then he like goes, and there's Bestia. Bestia's like, oh shit, he said my name. Look angry. Like, look angry. So I was like, that was kind of funny. But anyway, this match doesn't really doesn't look like it's gonna get started because there's some chicanery as we come to expect from LFI. They attack Violence Unlimited before the match really starts, and then once the match does start, it doesn't take long for this to devolve into the car crash style of wrestling that we know that Ness and Chris G love. But this match has the weirdest ending we have seen since Ness and I started covering Ring of Honor, except for when Dutch threw Taven off the balcony during the anniversary show.
Yeah.
It doesn't top that for being weird.
Nah.
But it's up there. Because
it's second. Yeah, it's definitely second.
Bestia hits Brody King with a chair. And that apparently is enough to make the match go to a no contest. Mind you, not a disqualification, not a DQ. Like they're not gonna make LFI lose this match because of disqualification. No, they're gonna say it's a no contest. Roosh has tried to kill people with wires.
He tried to do it this, but no, he didn't do the wire. He just did the door. Yeah.
Wires. He's tried to kill people with barricades. He tried to kill Jay Lethal, Brody King, Shane Taylor, Ian Riccaboni, Caprice Coleman, anybody on the roster. He will try to murder these people in the ring, outside the ring, right there. And Todd Sinclair is never like, no, that's too much. But Brody King, arguably the strongest or second strongest, if you want to say Shane Taylor is the strongest, guy in Ring of Honor, takes a chair shot, and Todd Sinclair's like, whoa, hey, you guys need to settle down and calm down, and you need to time out, like, because this is not, it was worse, it was not, okay, no, that one was worse, but it was very similar to how I felt when the refs ended the Roman Brock Hell in a Cell match where they're like, oh, they can't continue because of Braun Strowman. And when they said the Fiend can't continue against Seth Rollins, also in a Hell in a Cell match. but it was just like you have allowed these guys, like we have seen LFI versus Foundation devolve into car crashes with people all around the ring, all kinds of crazy stuff. This guy gets hit with a chair once, and that's what it takes to call a no contest. But it protects the match. It protects the real match, which is what I think they were trying to do. So what did you think about this match? What did you think about the promo videos? Because I didn't say this about the Violence Unlimited one. Tony Deppen actually feels like he could kill a man now. And
finally,
that's incredible. So major props to Tony Deppen for being with Violence Unlimited and now actually coming across like he can murder a guy. I like that. But that's what you think about this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll comment on that first. He has no choice but to step his aggression up. Brody King, Homicide, Chris Dickinson. Then it's Tony Deppen. Like, come on, Tony Deppen, you definitely have to step it up. Far as, being a threat, or just looking like a threat. I really enjoyed the promo videos prior to the match from both parties. Just LFI, saying how are you guys, the Foundation, we got to go after the Foundation because they have the TV title and the tag titles. They don't really care about the pure title. They just want the TV title and the tag titles back. But and then at the end of the day, they have the power, the title and Ring of Honor on Rouge being the Ring of Honor World Championship. Then it's Violence Unlimited. Just talk about being violent. What more can you say? The match itself was great because I got exactly what I expected. Two teams that do not like each other, have no respect for each other. I'm actually surprised that it didn't just devolve from the jump into a fight and then just never making it to a wrestling match, because that's what I thought was going to happen. Especially with all the animosity between the two teams, that it didn't make sense for them to actually come around and have a regular wrestling match. But then again, once they do, it then quickly breaks down again into just a big brawl, which comes and brings me to another point. At this point, something that I definitely didn't see coming, the Foundation now comes out and joins the fray. They threw their mentality, their ideology, they threw that out the window. They threw it to the wind. It does not matter anymore. All that honor, all that we're going to do things the right way, there's no more. They said, look, we have to stoop down to these guys' level and bring the fight to them. And that's exactly what happened. They come out, they're kicking everybody's ass. They're going after Violence Unlimited. They're going after the LFI. And they're just putting in work. And now I'm like, look, I don't know what you guys are going to do. I don't know how you do it. But there needs to be some sort of triple threat, I don't know what to call it or what to go about it, but all three of these teams need to meet in some sort of match that has some type of high caliber stakes to it, and it means something, because that's we talked about the plate spinning. There were all these plates spinning. There was the LFI plate spinning with the Foundation plate spinning, and then we just got a Violence Unlimited plate out of nowhere, and that just started spinning. Now, the Foundation's plate was still spinning, but I feel as though the LFI and Violence Unlimited plate was spinning a little bit faster. Now the Foundation plate has caught up to the speed of the LFI and Violence Unlimited, and now it's just like, what are we going to do? What are we doing here? And next week it's going to be Tracy Williams versus Tony Deppen. So that's a way to get these plates to spin. Who knows? An LFI member can come out and interject themselves in that match, or wherever they can go with this. There's so many ways that they can go with this story and just keep it fresh and keep it going. So I like it because it's pretty much the main event storyline that's going on, but it's so many people involved in so many ways that they can go with it that you really don't know where it's gonna go. So, and at this point, who knows? Maybe Shane Taylor Promotions, because he's still.
I was about to say, those guys are just sitting in the back like, you boys don't want it with us.
Yeah,
you boys don't want it with us.
And that's the thing, though, because Shane Taylor, those guys aren't guys that are going to be like, all right, well, we're going to look for an opportunity to, or we're going to wait for an opportunity to be brought to us. Like, no, we're going to bring the fight to you guys. And, Shane Taylor still very much wants to be Ring of Honor World Champion. So, I don't know. I don't know when they're going to do it, if they want to do it. And again, these guys are 6-man title holders.
Yeah.
There's all these groups have at least three people. They more than likely have more, like 4 guys. But yeah, for the most part, they have 4 guys. But, who knows who we can get, like Shane Taylor Promotions versus LFI, or Shane Taylor Promotions versus Violence Unlimited, or versus some form of the Foundation. So there's ways that we can go with all of this. And honestly, I don't care how they do it, where they go with it. I'm going to be glued to my TV to see how it goes, because I like it. This episode, I feel as though this episode was really strong. It really built up all these teams. And again, their roster is getting deep, and they have not necessarily have to rely on a partnership, because that's going to make it better. That's always a plus. But they're reestablishing themselves as Ring of Honor, and maybe not so having to, for lack of a better term, lean on another company, and they could just bring in other talent and showcase them there. But again, at the end of the day, something that they didn't learn with New Japan, learn from their usage of the Bullet Club, is you need to build up your own. You don't want to just rely on these other stars of that are outside of the company and not building up your own guys, because then at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? At the end of the day, if the partnerships don't work out, like CMLL, if CMLL had talent the caliber of New Japan, far as like the Bullet Club or the Elite, and now that there's no more partnership between CMLL and Ring of Honor, then they would have been in a whole situation like they were a couple years ago with the Elite leaving. So I commend Ring of Honor for obviously it seems like they have taken that into consideration and are starting to build themselves up, far as having a deep roster. So, and it's a lot of guys, which means a lot of different matchups, a lot of fresh matchups, a lot of different feuds and storylines. So that's nothing but a plus in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Dragon Lee when he comes back.
Yeah,
because that means the 3 main teams will each have 4 people.
Yeah.
And you can do some kind of fun triple threat 12-man tag team match or something. I don't know how exactly they're going to be able to pull this one off. But also, Shane Taylor, the reason why I'm interested in Dragon Lee coming back is that means that Shane Taylor Promotions would be down a man.
Yeah.
And they would need to recruit somebody.
Yeah.
And who would be somebody who could fit with Shane Taylor Promotions? That would be something that would be really interesting to see, because to me, somebody who might fit very well would be Fred Yehi.
I was thinking that as well. I know that they want him to be like a foundation guy, as far as, the pure wrestler and things of that nature, but you're the savage weight. There's nothing savage about following the rules. Or just like doing everything the right way.
Yeah, it's not even that Shane Taylor Promotions do things, they cheat or anything like that. Yeah. It's more just like, don't limit yourself. Yeah. That I think is going to be a great way to do it, and we'll see how exactly all of that shapes together, because man, that is, and you know what the worst part of this is? I feel like now they should not have broken up Mexa Squad. No. Because you could have used Mexa, you could have plugged them in different key points of what we're building towards and seeing what's going to happen, particularly if Roosh is able to bring some people who were with CMLL now over. You could easily get a fourth person into Mexa Squad or something like that, and you'd have been flying. But we'll see how exactly all of that shakes out. And let's not forget, if this is some interesting storyline that somehow manages to have LFI needing to call somebody for help, that will be the best thing that comes out. That will be like, if that happens, that'll be like the most amazing thing to come out of this storyline, probably. So that'll be really incredible. But guys, we are getting way, way, way ahead of ourselves. We got to take this week by week, day by day. Who knows what news we're gonna have happen, but by the next time we see you guys. But when we do see you guys the next time, we will be covering everything that happens in MLW Fusion and on Ring of Honor. But Ness, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You guys can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, one half of Fusion of Honor, my man StatKing, where we cover MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. You catch me on Blunt Impact and Jointed Jabronis with Chris G. We form the Pot Heels, smoke a little weed, watch a little wrestling, it's always a plus. 1/3 of NX3 with, once again, Chris G and Romeo Anthony Colon. Roundtable Rebels, catch me on the Roundtables. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
And guys, you can catch me on Dark Power, covering everything that happens on AEW Dark, Elevation, and NWA Power. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Peace.